There's no preference for black, light skin.
Wait, hang on. Does that include other black guys?
Yeah, we don't care. We just if you look
Wait.
good, you look good. That's the end of the day. If you look good, you look good. So I think the whole light skin versus dark skin thing for men was when we were younger, like in elementary school, where we wanted light skin girls with light eyes. But I mean, you could be darker, you could be lighter. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, whatever. So.
That people of lighter skin have to people of darker skin. I think it dates all the way back to like slavery, where people of lighter skin were working in the houses and people of darker skin were working in the fields. And like there's just a general privilege that lighter skinned people have over darker skin.
Does this privilege still exist? Does it still happen in our day-to-day lives? Before we get too deep, remember these are students, so don't go too hard. Let's go.
What question did your partner have of another race?
I tend to think that white people or Americans in general like to think that the world they live is the only world that exists. So once in a while, like the mainstream media also shows them that there might be a case that they don't have an idea about. And they're like, oh really, we are just shocked about it. So every once in a while, if you're really shocked about it, how can you just manage yourself to not like go and explore different cultures or something and still think that you're doing well, like just by thinking this is the only world you have. You know?
All right, cool, man. All right, so this is a good question. So I need a white person.
How's that? No offense to the student or the professor, but that question was kind of racist. The reason I say it was kind of racist is because imagine if the roles were reversed. If somebody said, yeah, I don't know where he's from, so I'm just going to use my own race. If someone said, yeah, black people just think they live in their own world. Black people just ignore every other person's race. They only concern themselves with their lives. That's not a cool thing to say, but maybe in the context of the class, it's a cool thing to say. I don't really know the intricacies that go into this specific course, but that question was kind of racist, if I'm being honest. But let's not get too carried away. The video just started.
Person, dude, is this you? Oh, wait, you're gonna answer the question?
Oh wait, no.
All right, hang on. I need a white person to answer his question, and the question is, how it's like sometimes all cultures get like really encased, but right now we're gonna just talk about white Americans to get like really kind of bounded, having this kind of really not really understanding anything about the world, and yet thinking that we do, or is that
Once in a while, get to know that. Once in a while, get to know that and get shocked about it and get intrigued about it and just forget about it next day. Like.
All right, so who doesn't really know anything about the world, much about the world, and why not? And this isn't a dig. Like you're not like a bad person if you don't know anything about the world. It's just this is the question, we're going to go with it, and we need somebody.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with not knowing a lot about the world. My thing is, why did this student specifically target white people not knowing a lot about the world? And why did he put it in such a negative connotation? I'm not trying to say like he has a spiteful energy towards white Americans, but my thing is that question in itself was just kind of racist. I'm not even going to lie, it was kind of racist. Anyways, I'm not gonna pause it too much. Let's just get back. Hey y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe.
Use white to answer it.
I used to be like that because I think American culture is very different from everywhere else, and a lot of people that come from their home countries and then come here, they've been immersed in their own culture and then American culture, so it's very different. But I went to Peru last summer, to Chilca, Peru, and it was my first time out of the country. So I got a different perspective, and when I came back, I was a lot more conscious of the things that I said and did, especially with like stuff like in the mainstream media. But a lot of us don't know any different than what we've grown up with, and I think we've all also kind of just been taught to not really expand our knowledge on other countries because we're America, we're a very powerful country, so we don't really need perspectives elsewhere because we have it all here.
Yeah.
Which is why I think going to like another country is so eye-opening for a lot of people.
Dude, beautiful answer, man.
My Egyptian partner, Will, wants to know why so many white girls wear crop tops and booty shorts when it's 30 degrees outside.
Even if it's cold outside, girls look like amazing in it, so they want to be able to feel great. Like, I don't know. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I lived in South North Carolina for about 3 years, 4 years. But I wonder, why do certain people still have Confederate flag on their trucks, in their property? Well, from what I learned, it's a symbol of like slavery and everything, you know? And people are okay with it, because I see it every day during that 4 years. People are okay, because if I lived there, I wouldn't be okay with it. But people there are okay with it, and it's like normal. I don't understand.
I'd say that a lot of it's a lack of education. You don't often see like nice houses that have Confederate flags. A lot of it is white people that try to blame their difficulties on other people rather than themselves.
I want to know what the beef is between.
One thing I like that the not the young man who just spoke, but the young man right before him did, is when he asked a question, he didn't necessarily phrase it towards white people. He said, why do certain people? And the reason I think that's important is because the first two students who asked the question, one saying, why do white girls wear booty shorts and crop tops? And the first one saying, why do white Americans or white people not concern themselves with outside countries or outside cultures? And the reason that I don't necessarily like the phrasing with those questions is because those questions aren't race specific at all. Black people wear crop tops and booty shorts. Latino people wear crop tops and booty shorts. All races of people wear this stuff. And in America, it's a certain culture. A lot of people in America don't concern themselves with outside races. So when you phrase a question in a specific way saying, oh, why do white people do this? Why do white people do this? It kind of leads with the premise that only white people do this, which is not true, making the statement something completely different than what it actually is. And when it goes to Confederate flags, I'm going to try to answer this. I don't really know a lot about all the why people use Confederate flags. Me personally, I would never use it. However, it's been times where people have came to my channel and they talk about the Confederate flag and they say, what I get from what they're saying, and I may not agree with it, is that they put the Confederate flags because they have a different understanding or interpretation on what the flag means. Me personally, I don't necessarily agree with that. However, when people would come to this channel and say, well, we put the flag because to me it represents a specific culture or represents family history, I don't know. That's a different perspective of it. I don't agree with that perspective. That's not my perspective of it, but that's the answer I hear a lot. So all I'm going to say is when you phrase these type of questions, asking different races of people questions, at least try to make the questions a little more race specific. No offense to the students in this class, but a lot of these questions come off as a little racist because they're not really white. They're not white people things. Anybody can do this type of stuff, but let's not get too carried away.
Between dark skins and light skins or mixed people?
Wait, what?
I want to know what the beef is between dark skins and light skins or mixed people, because there's low-key beef and there's high-key beef.
Beef between like black people who are light skin and dark skin, and brown people light skin and dark.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Can someone answer that question?
That's actually a pretty good question. That's actually a good question for the black community. I want to hear an answer to this
question.
I would say that because black men typically prefer like light skins because of their hair and just the color of their skin, and they just prefer them more often, I would say.
You think so?
Yes.
And so for women anyway, there's sort of a beef about that. They feel that kind of way.
Yeah, because I don't know. I know a lot of females like fight over guys, and that's one of the reasons because.
Dude, anyone want to add? Okay, all right, I got you. Anyone want to add anything to that?
Oop, got one.
Wait, I got to let a guy respond. You're going to respond to that? Yeah. All right, dude.
I would say that I'm a black guy. I like everything under the sun, so there's no preference for black, light skin.
Wait, hang on. Does that include other black guys?
Yeah, we don't care. We just if you,
What?
If you look good, you look good. That's at the end of the day, if you look good, you look good. So I think the whole light skin versus dark skin thing for men was when we were younger, like in elementary school, where we wanted light skinned girls with light eyes, but I mean, you could be darker, you could be lighter. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, whatever. So.
All right, dude. All right, I like that. Wait, quick response,
Sam.
and then we got to get to this guy. Do you have a quick response to it? All right.
Yo, I got a question then.
Can I just sit?
Hang on.
Sure.
Yeah, you can sit.
So I haven't experienced this like prejudice, but
You
my
haven't.
mom has because she's very light skinned. And I think there's just a general prejudice and a general privilege that people of lighter skin have to people of darker skin. I think it dates all the way back to like slavery, where people of lighter skin were working in the houses and people of darker skin were working in the fields. And like there's just a general privilege that lighter skinned people have over darker skinned people.
That is just held up through the years.
It's obviously not as strong as like white people versus people of color, but like we notice it within smaller communities.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting point by this young woman who says that basically if you have lighter skin, you just have an inherent privilege. And she's talking about the black community specifically. She did kind of mention white Americans, or not white Americans, white people in this as well. And a question I would pose for this young woman is, has this privilege gotten better in your eyes? Because you said it dates back to slavery, and as we know, at least what I think, society for black people in general has gotten better since slavery in a lot of ways, meaning more job opportunities, obviously no Jim Crow, no 3/5 of a human. Basically, opportunities have gotten better, especially within the past 5 years leading up to 2024 we're almost into. So in your eyes, does this privilege still exist? Is it still as strong as you claim it is? Is it still just as bad? What would you think this privilege is today? Because the reason I'm asking this question is because you said you haven't experienced it, whereas your mother has experienced it. So if you haven't experienced this, and I don't know necessarily what color you are, I can't really tell where you lie in the color spectrum. But if you haven't experienced this, and you are probably, 21, 22 years old, maybe older, maybe younger, does this privilege still exist? Does it still happen in our day-to-day lives? I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it does. That's just a question for anyone to answer.
I got you.
Why do people like to drink even though, they don't taste good, they don't smell good, and it gets them out of their mind and do bad things?
Your answer is going to live on the internet forever. All right? That response right there, if that was a future boss of yours, you would be fired before you even started. Oh, it's fun. Yeah, it's no, give a thoughtful answer. Why do you think y'all like to drink so much?
I like how Dr. Sam Richards edited his response out the video. You're the GOAT for that. Thank you for editing out the video, because you can't just have anything on the internet.
I don't know. I really don't.
You just do.
Just do, yeah.
Bro, do you have an answer?
I'd say that after an accounting and marketing exam, there's probably nothing better than just, hitting the bottle.
Dude, actually, no, there is. That guy, I've got to disagree with you. Our man over there would say we like spleef up, but, whatever.
I think drinking, especially at that young of an age, it could be a little dangerous. So don't get too carried away with that bottle, as he called it. But anyways, if you have any suggestions for me, comment down below.